Good morning and welcome to Bowtie Life and the Bowtie Gardens. I appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We talk mostly about gardening, sometimes about life, and one of our big features is our monthly garden tours. Today is starting our second year of garden tours. I can't believe it. I can't get over it. I am just really celebrating today because this is the first minute of year two for Bowtie Life as I envisioned it a number of years ago, and actually started the channel over a year before I actually started. But anyway, we're out here in the front and side gardens. It is morning, obviously, and I wanted to show just the intro here because you can see some of the work I've been doing. I actually refurbished a few tables for a customer. I actually designed and built some chairs for another customer, and this archway, which is the important thing here, this archway you're going to see later, I'm hoping, in this video, because it's been waiting a year, in fact a year this weekend, to get over there. In fact, I'm thinking that the day this releases, it will have been a year since that's been waiting to get the finish on it, which happened yesterday. So it's all coated up and looking beautiful, and it is getting ready to be a permanent part of the Bowtie Gardens. So let's get on with it. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So as usual with these garden tours every month, I always start with the strawberry patch, but first we have to stumble over the ever-present wood chip pile. And I've actually been using some, a little bit at a time. I've got to get some paths done in the back, and a lot of this will get used for that. But check out the strawberries. These things are thick. So this is the end of April. Lots of flowers on these things, lots of flowers. We harvested 16 pounds of strawberries from this patch, and it goes all the way over to there and up behind there. But this is the thick spot right here. Now these are all strawberries from the seeds I picked off of a Walmart strawberry, organic strawberry. And yeah, they are looking lush. In fact, there's very few dollar weed leaves sticking up, which is new. They are so thick, they are choking out the dollar weed, and that is my goal here. I want these things to grow that well. Now, we do have the bare patches over here, and I have a trip coming up, but I'm hoping to get a few of these plucked out and put over here, because these things are going to start putting out runners. And I'm going to be controlling the runners now because we definitely don't need any more plants in this mess right here. I would much rather have strawberries. And I'm feeding these regularly. We gave them compost a while back, and I'm giving them some organic fertilizers where the NPK, the P and the K are higher, so they'll produce more fruit. But they are looking lush. These are the Ozark Beauties. Now you'll notice, like, here's what I'm talking about right here. These dollarweed, it's an aquatic plant. These dollarweed right here are barely poking through what was a bare spot right there. So the more we fill in these bare spots, the less of these we're gonna have coming through. And that's one thing I'm trying to get to. It's just a process. When I'm down there poking around, I feel like I'll pull a leaf or two. But I've got one sweet berry in here. This is Ozark Beauty, and this is all Ozark Beauty in this area. Once we start filling in over there, it's going to be a mishmash. And I tell you what, I do have plans. Here we go, folks. Plans for this area. I've been studying how the professionals do it. They do these raised rows with strawberry plants every 10 or 12 inches. I'm probably going to do about 10 inches in weed control fabric, and we will have a real strawberry bed. I'm not going to raise them up real high, probably raise them up, if I can get a foot, I will, but it's more likely going to be 6-8 inches with nice walking rows and walking paths in between. So we'll get these things under control. The jalapenos, we actually have jalapenos on here. I've resisted harvesting until I can get this video done. But there are, where'd they go? There's some small ones in here. There's some decent sized ones in there. But now what is that? I know this is a jalapeno. That looks more like a Tabasco almost, except the color's wrong. But yeah, look at this tiny thing. This thing obviously didn't get fed. So it's a little under stress, I guess. It's looking a little, the leaves are yellowing. I know it's getting water. Oh yeah, it's got some decent water in there. So it's moist. Not moist as I would have thought though. Maybe I need to check my irrigation again. I still have plans for the irrigation. Of course, that is my chocolate mint plant that has just gone thick. This thing really needs to get broken down into a couple of more bags for spreading around the garden. In fact, I'd love to have two of these, one in this corner, one in one corner, one in another corner. The squirrels in the neighbor's tree have been getting a little more bold. I've seen them come pretty close to the edge of my strawberry patch. After the 16 pounds of strawberries that we harvested, I haven't harvested very many, and so it hadn't been that hot. It really hasn't. And so I'm thinking I just need to maybe get some more mint around to help. And the mint doesn't completely control the squirrels. You know, I'm okay with them having some. I don't want them to have them all. So yeah, we'll work on that relationship. But that mint will slow them down and keep them at bay a little bit. Rodents too. I may have rodents. I need to set some overnight traps for rats in here. We're on the coast, folks. We have rats, monster rats that'll beat you up. So maybe I'll tell that story one day. But so the pomegranates, these two pomegranates are looking good. Now this one right here just has a ton of flowers on it. Now they won't all develop, some will fall off. That front one, a lot of the flowers have fallen off, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm gonna have to look at feeding these a little more again. The garlic, okay, so the garlic has been all consolidated over here. We did get solar panels, and so the ones that were in this corner over here had to be moved out so that the workers could get to the solar panel, the electrical panel. But I did move a few. The three that were in that corner are sitting back over there. They're looking a little feeble, mostly, I'm thinking mostly because they probably didn't get good water. But these garlic are looking, some of them are looking lush. Let me show you. Look at that. This is a scape, folks. Hardneck garlics shoot up scapes, and these scapes will flower if you let them. I'm not going to let them because it robs power from the bulbing of the garlic head underground. And so I'll be coming through and cutting all these scapes right after this video. And the reason why I'm shooting this video now is because I need to cut these scapes. There's just tons of them on here. So all these things need to get cut back. Now the Enchilium red is a soft neck garlic, so they don't get scapes. So you'll notice that some of these do not have scapes, some of them do. Well, the ones that do are hardneck garlic, and that's all there is to it. Just hardneck garlic. And so these things will be trimmed as soon as I'm done recording this segment of video. I do want to come over here with a checkup on, well, this pomegranate tree is definitely gone. Look at my Plumaria. Now this excites me to no end. I've known this stem had green in it, and I've been sweating it, wondering if this thing would grow, and looky here, folks, it has definitely grown. Oh my goodness, it looks beautiful. I am so excited about how well that is gonna come back, and I can see new growth down inside there. Two stems coming up. Oh, there's another one right there on the edge. So this thing is still alive. This is my Plumaria. And then of course the brown turkey fig trees. This one's looking strong. This one is looking as a strong candidate to replace this pomegranate right here. So I'm very happy with that. This brown turkey fig over here, I think it was having a watering problem, and I literally just redirected the irrigation this morning. And I thought it was going to actually get planted right here. If it doesn't make it and I don't have something to plant here, I'm not worried about it. So whatever. If I've got one good brown turkey over here and I can get that thing to grow to maturity, I'll have a lot more. You just cutting off the stems, and we'll show videos on that, cutting off the branches and seeding them and so forth. But that's a ways off. That's a year or two away. So yeah, here we go for this little section. So across here on the other side of the driveway, the mums are looking lush, and look in close here. They are starting to get buds everywhere. These things are going to be shooting out flowers here pretty soon. These are yellow and or orange. Don't know which is which. I know this one has some other stuff planted around the back here, but I did feed these some extra fertilizer, and I've got them in these pots. They get some little bit of water from the drip off from the roof, and so they do pretty good. And of course, looky there, the hedges are trimmed. You know, some tours, these hedges are not trimmed, but I just did a little video last weekend. Me, myself, and I having some fun with trimming the hedges. So that's a good feeling to get that done, of course. But let's head over here to the artichoke patch, and of course the fig tree over here. We're watching these figs, and they are looking good. You'll notice down here we actually have some decent sized figs down here, about the size of the end of my thumb right now. There's a couple dozen on there. This thing is getting pretty big, between 4 and 5 foot tall. And now on the garlic, here's some more of the garlic, and here's another bag with scapes that are going to have to get cut off. I did move these. They used to be over on that wall right there, but you'll notice the sycamore tree is getting leaves on it, so it doesn't get as much sun, and these need a bit of sun. So we've moved these, plus the ones over behind the strawberry patch, out so that they can get their sun. And there's a lot of scapes in there on the music and the whatever kind of garlic that I have that's hardneck, of course. But they're looking good. I did just feed these last night. I did a short. By the time this comes out, it'll be 3 or 4 days ago since this short came out, but feeding with fish fertilizer. So around here, this was supposed to be a jalapeno. I've been watching this, and these are the funniest shaped jalapenos I ever seen. Well, yeah, it's an orange bell. So we'll be getting orange bells. Jennifer has her yearly petunias back this year. And there's the amaryllis down here that have not bloomed yet. They're kind of stuck down in there between. By the time the garlic gets harvested in June, they'll be ready to start going up. So yeah, that brings us to the Green Globe Artichoke patch. We've got 5 plants in here. They are slightly close together because I want them to be just a beautiful mass in here along this front edge. They're going to be about 3 to 5 feet tall, I guess, is what the package says. But kind of down next to him here is the yarrow. And if you've watched the video tours from the past, you'll remember in the raised garden bed tours, there was a basket of 4 yarrow plants hanging up. Well, this is only one of them. But interestingly enough, this here was the one. Look over here. There's another one. Look over here. There's another one. Look way over here. There's already another one coming up. I just planted these. There's another one there. These things are spreading like wildfire. I didn't know yarrow did that. And so there's another one way over here. And so, yeah, these yarrow are going to fill in this area, and I am very excited. Now, this is one thing that I'm being a little proactive about, pulling out these sand burr grass. I can't remember what it's called, but those, when they dry out and you step on them, are not fun, of course. So I'm going to throw those out on the driveway. But anyway, I do want to point out down here where this brick is. That brick isn't supposed to be there. But this used to be part of the artichoke patch. And I noticed when we had company over that the garden was too close to the driveway and people couldn't get out of their cars. And so I transplanted this grass in here from where the sugar snow peas are. So this is actually taking off nicely. There's one little patch back there, that different color green grass back in this area, that I want to start replacing because it's looking pretty rough. It's all the sand burr grass that I'm trying to get rid of, and it's just this little area right here that's left. So I'm going to do the same thing as we're putting in the other raised tier garden beds in there. There are some thickets of weeds. That particular weed sticking out of the dollar weed is one I've been trying to get out. It goes to seed, and it's going to spread out to more, of course. And then we got a video coming out about burying that pot right there, and then we fed it last night. And interestingly enough, during that video, couple of these plants right here got watered in. They were completely flattened down. They're all perking up. This one, these actually got fed with the fish emulsion yesterday, so they're looking a little bit sad, but this one is laying down because of that. These two were laying flat because of being watered in, and then the fish emulsion, and you can see it's perking up very nicely. So that's the artichoke bed. So I've already looked up here at the sycamore tree. It is leafing out beautifully. It's getting thicker and thicker. Interestingly enough, the sycamore is supposed to be a hurricane-safe tree. The roots go on forever, and they're very strong. And when the wind blows hard enough, these leaves will actually release, and it'll grow a whole new set of leaves, just like that bark. People think that bark makes it look like it's diseased. Well, it's not. That's the way the American sycamore does. It grows this bark and slakes off. In fact, down here, in some of the earlier garden tours, this was completely bare, and it keeps growing, and it's like scabbing over. I don't know what it's doing exactly, but it's okay. It's not sick. It's the way it's supposed to look. The Crepe Myrtles are always one of the last things to bloom, and yeah, that decorative pear down there, it's very disappointing. It is doomed to be removed one day. It had flowers on it for less than a week. Very disappointing. So that's this one right in here. And then of course the cedar, I believe it is, down there. But wanted to address well, no, we'll get to the Pindo in just a second. But we have our pollinator bed over here, and it is a bit overcome by dollarweed. But if you'll notice, all the zinnias, look at all the zinnias, just for a minute. Look at the tons and tons of zinnias, and this is what I was working on last year. I was coming in here and I was taking the old dead zinnias from the back one and just crumbling them up, the flowers, crumbling them up, that's where the seeds are, and just spreading them out. And you can tell I got real heavy along this side over here. There's a few, in fact there's a beautiful white one over here on this side that that fell in here somehow. But you'll notice this is what Mrs. Bowtie gets out of it. She gets her mason jars of flowers, and those go on her desk. But yeah, the zinnias are looking amazing. There's one of those big aloe plants right in here that may, if it survives, it may add a different kind of texture in here. There's these two things are, oh, looky there, it's a sunflower. Yeah, these are sunflower plants. I did replace the one over here. It was looking bad, and then I think a slug or something chewed off the bottom of it. But they're looking a lot, this new one on the left and that original one are looking good. I don't normally do stuff for garden tours. I did come down here and pull out the dollarweed from around these rain lilies. I think they're water lilies. No, not water, rain lilies. These rain lilies right here. And these are from Jana's father. I like having these in the garden. They're the beautiful pink little flowers. I'm trying to clear out around it. I saw them, they were a little choked out when I just before I recorded this, so I actually pulled up a bunch of dollar weed. In fact, you can see there's still some fresh roots here that I didn't quite get pulled up, but these roots, I tell you what, if you can get a whole string of these, well, you can't. They come down to these nodes, and that's where the leaves grow from. And also, I will get that in the garbage bin in a little bit. But anyway, I don't think these have bloomed very well yet because they've been kind of getting choked by the dollar weed. But one of the big things over here, well, on the way there, let's look at the Egyptian walking onions over here. These are looking amazing. They're starting to come out. So remember, they start off with a little node like this, and then the node pops open and starts coming out like this, and then it gets a little heavier, a little bigger. And look at this one here. This is getting really big. But eventually what happens is these big nodules get heavy and they fall over and they touch the ground and they will grow. This thing here, right here, will grow a brand new cluster. So it's called the Egyptian walking onion. In fact, I've been watching this one. You see this right here? This one's gotten heavy enough. Look down here. It's starting to reach for the soil. And I can help it and grow another cluster right there of these onions. And it'll do a real cluster of onions. They're great for green. They don't bulb up, but they're great for green cutting onions. And then, of course, this is the angel trumpet. And I was so hoping this thing would be in bloom. Look how huge this thing is. This angel trumpet flower. This is going to open up on the bottom and be this beautiful, I think it's a yellow flower. There's two of them hanging right there. There is, thought I saw another one hanging here. Well, there's the two. Thought there was another one hanging from this one. I don't see it. Maybe there wasn't. But two beautiful flowers coming out there on the angel trumpet. And this thing is going to take off. The plant that this came from was over 6 foot tall. So this could potentially be a pretty good sized plant out here. Coming around here to past the sycamore trunk to the back of the two pollinator beds. Just look at the sea of zinnias. There are zinnias all throughout here. It's the only flower that's in here right now, oh, except for the one amaryllis, right there. It's a spent amaryllis. There's an amaryllis down right in there. But just tons and tons of zinnias. And check this out. Is that not beautiful? Some of these zinnias are just amazing. And there's more coming up, just eternally more coming up all over the place. And the way these zinnia work, when a flower comes out, like that beautiful one right there, I'm about to cut it and put it into the vase that I just showed you for Mrs. Bowtie. But this is how cool these zinnias are. What happens is I will cut it right down here, cut that off. Here's already a new zinnia coming out, and here's another one. When this one gets cut, these two will take off. So one turns into two, and then two turns into four. And it keeps multiplying like that, and you end up with these beautiful bushes of zinnias. So follow along with the garden tours and see how this place goes every month. It's really interesting. There were not very many zinnias here last year, certainly not this many. This is at least 10 times more than what I had last year, maybe 20 or 30 times more than what I had last year. And the ones last year were the ones I planted in the soil. I did stuck them in the soil, planted them, and then I clipped them, and every time I had a dead head, I would break it up and spread the seeds out. Well, this is the second year, and I'm going to do it a lot more this year. In fact, I've got a little bit of a plan where I'm going to start saving these flowers, and I'm going to spread them out come February or March and see if we can get even more. So I'm a little excited about that. The Thai plants, Thai plants, are coming out. They're starting to crawl out of their hiding place. You can see this one here. It's looking a little rough for the wear, but you can see there, it's a beautiful purple plant that will grow up and create this purple plume in the middle of the garden. So now one thing I want you to notice here that I've been noticing, you notice all these brown dollar weeds in here, and I don't know what is happening here, but I am noticing that it's happening in the places where I have pulled all the leaves out. Not necessarily the roots, but the leaves. Like this area over here, there's this brown area in the dollar weed, and there's zinnia coming up in the middle of it, but I don't know if me pulling the dollar weed is actually doing long-term damage to it, which would be wonderful, but or if the dichondra is coming in and choking it out, which I don't mind the dichondra, because the dichondra comes out like a big mat. And go back to when I made these beds, the video I did making these beds. At the end of it, I showed the dichondra and how it just comes up like a carpet. So this takes us to the tier garden. We still only have the top 2 beds. We have 3 more beds planned, but the top 2 beds have onions, basil, and sugar snow peas, and a tripod growing out of it. This is a little bit of a leftover. I forgot I left that there. I actually did pick up some stuff to shoot this video because I had shovels and stuff over here. We'll get to that in just a moment. You might have already seen the surprise over there, but these sugar snow peas are starting to climb, and we are so excited. Look at this. It's starting to grab on. They're starting to get up the trellis and find the trellis. We had to help it along a little bit. Jay Dixon, thanks for the advice. I was trying to figure out, these are a foot off the ground. That is way too high. I need to make these about 6 inches off the ground, according to Jay Dixon, and I think next year I'm going to do that. So, but yeah, the sugar snow peas are taking off. They're going to be looking good. It is the end of April. Eesh. We got these in late because this bed got made late. On either side, on the outside of the same bed, we have onions. Now these are bulbing onions, yellow grano, Texas grano, or some kind of yellow onions, and these things are actually looking pretty good. So they will not start bulbing up until later. There's an occasional basil plant in here. I have been feeding these with the fish emulsion so they can have all this wood chip heavy stuff that I've been putting in here. It robs the nitrogen, so the fish emulsion puts back a lot of that nitrogen. But that's both sides. The onions on the other side. Now, interestingly enough, there were 2 onions in the end here. They are gone. I'm gonna go plant 2 more onions in here. Looks like we might have a couple more suffering if they don't do well. If they die, I will come back and replace them. I got a whole bunch of onions you'll see here shortly, just ready to go. Now look at this basil here. This basil is looking really good. I need to do a little trimming so they start bushing out more. This basil over here, it has not been looking good, but I did just notice there's some new growth coming out there. So it'll come back. And I see that basil over there is looking really good. Some more garlic. I don't see any scapes here that need to be cut, so this must be the Enchilium red. Plenty of sun. They did get fed just literally last night. Jalapenos, look at these jalapenos over here in the asparagus bed. Red and corked. Gonna have to get some harvesting done in here. In fact, there's something back in the raised beds that I got to get harvested, but I wanted to wait till after this video. There is a artichoke, not an artichoke, these are asparagus. There is an asparagus kind of down in that mess. Look at this one though. This is my first beautiful asparagus shoot, and it's only their 2nd year, so I'm not going to pick it, but look at that. Just a little thin thing. It's the biggest one I've seen though. This thing will become another fern like this, so I'm just going to let that go. I actually saw that yesterday. I almost picked it, but I resisted. So yeah, there's another asparagus plant in there. I need to pull those dollarweed back. I try to keep them cleared out from the immediate area. Oh, and then there's one growing right over here as well. So we got 3 successful ones going. I do want to start some more seeds and see if I can get them, get a couple more going out here. But this is another basil. These are Genovese basil. All these basil are Genovese basil. And big old thicket of dollarweed over here. And you can see all the yellow dollarweed in here. I haven't sprayed anything. I've sprayed nothing, but I have pulled leaves from this area. I don't know. It's weird. I'll keep doing it. So up here in the Pindo Date, right above the asparagus patch, you see that little piece coming out right there? That is going to produce a lot of dates. And it looks like the flowers have already been pollinated, and it looks like it's starting to produce dates, which means I need to get up there and start doing stuff with it. But yeah, this is the Pindo Date palm right here above the asparagus patch. And over here you can see we have a chocolate mint doing very well. And our fated grapefruit tree. Now I want to show, so we got our grapefruit tree. If you watch our channel, you know, you've seen videos of me trimming this back. I've trimmed on it 3 times now, actually. What you might think was the first one was actually the second time I did any work on this. There was a big old branch here that I did on the 3rd time. That was on video. If you look over here at my neighbors, it was a big, beautiful, okay, this thing gave me 240 pounds of grapefruit last year. Yeah, that much. Now my neighbors, he's working on his too, slowly. It was about the same, and he's still got some higher branches to get off. But look at up there, his branches are looking beautiful up there. And here recently, in fact, I was really worried the other day about this, but look at all this new growth coming out here and all this, and it's starting to look perky. It's actually starting to look good. Now, we're not expecting any grapefruit from it this year. We're not getting anything from it. Absolutely. If we do, I'm gonna have to pick it off because I want it to focus on getting these leaves out. So, yeah. I am very excited though, looking at all this growth coming out. All these are all new branches coming out. Look at that, new branch. That one was trying to come out, something might have gotten to it. This is new. That's not quite new, but see how it's shriveling a little bit? The whole thing was looking like that a few days ago. But over here on this side, in fact, let me come around here to the other side on this branch, because there was only this one here, and look, 1, 2, 3, all these 4, 5, all these are brand new shoots coming out. So this thing still has life in it. This thing is still trying to go. I am just about to feed this thing. Look here, here's a new one here. New branches coming out all over. So I am very excited. Now this is a bit of a head knocker right here, but as bad as the tree is, I did not want to take that out because I'm trying to keep as much as I can. I can see some splitting on that branch right there, but there is some green growth right at the very tip. So we'll have to see if that heals itself. This thing here, this is the Satsuma Orange that is shooting stuff from the root, and I don't know what it is. I still have plans to come in here and cut off just at the graft point here where they put the scion on the rootstock, and right there, and whatever this is coming out, Scott had a great idea. He said to oh, look at the thorns on this thing. Oh my goodness, whatever this rootstock is, it has gnarly thorns. But he said to come in here and just buy a non-grafted whatever type of orange tree you want and graft it in here, because this root ball apparently is still good. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that to see if it'll grow up. I have bead on some Awari Satsuma trees. I don't know if these are Awari. Look at this guy looking over here. He's watching me. Love those lizards. So this Satsuma, I still have not addressed. I need to. Something fierce. I'm gonna walk around here, but I just gotta show you the citronella blooming. Isn't that amazing? I'm gonna be doing a bunch of cuttings off the citronella and a few others that I've got in here. Eventually, I would like to have as much citronella around the property as we have mint. So, anyway, coming back over here to the entrance of the grapevine, and I've been talking about it for a year. In fact, I've been talking about this, I think, since the first of these garden tours in April of last year. And this actually was my youngest son and his wife did a vow renewal under this arch, and we bought it for them. They wanted something like this to go on the stage. We bought it for them, and then it's here in the garden to honor their vow renewal. And when we bought it on Amazon, it said, okay, this is an indoor or an outdoor thing, and trust me, it wasn't an outdoor thing. However, I came in and I coated this thing with heavy coats of sealer, and it now is outdoor, though it is not treated wood, I don't believe. I really don't think it's treated wood, but you can see the grapevine was really needing somewhere to climb, and this one is going to start taking over this trellis, and it'll be wonderful once this thing will grow over here. One thing you'll notice is that the front of the roof lines up with the front of this almost. It's within a couple of inches, and the grape will have a tendency to grow over the top of this as well and look beautiful. But if you didn't see the short that I did, looky up here. This is so exciting. Here's one. There are little tiny grapes up in here. Look at that. Can you believe that? Little tiny grapes coming. We're gonna have grapes. Oh, I don't know how big of grapes they are or what they taste like or what, but yeah, we're getting some decent growth in here, and we're gonna have something out of it this year. I am hoping. So you can see the sun, we're coming up to midday. The sun shadow on the house gets shorter and shorter, and this side here gets all the sun. So it'll actually grow across the top and down here. We probably won't have anything growing here from that grapevine. So I'm gonna have to look for some kind of a shade tolerant vine to do this side maybe, or maybe just leave it open so that window can have a view of the grapes. But we're coming back through here. Over here, let's talk about the seedlings in just a moment. I did want to show Devil's Backbone, whatever this is, Mother of Millions, whatever you want to call it. We had one survive from last year through the winter, and it is already starting to drop babies. Now it's right up next to the house, which I'm not crazy about. So as soon as I can get it to start coming back out again and being in this area where I want it, I'll be happy. The seedlings, look at the onions. These onions could go out anytime. These are bulbing onions, Texas grano, various yellow onions. These are turning into sets, so these are my backups. And also I'll be planting them in other places. Get that sycamore leaf out of there. But these are going to look good. They're going strong, and they're kind of kept small because they're so bunched together, and they're in the solo cup. Now these were in the seed starting cells, and they were kept small because of that. Well, I want them to get a little bit further, so I put them in these cups so they would do good and be ready when I'm ready. So we have various pepper plants, peppadews, and sunflower, whole row of sunflowers here. More onions. There's more basil back there. There's various types of tomato plants. In fact, I think this is the Nebraska wedding. Yeah, this is all Nebraska wedding here. And these have been sitting out here for months, so they are ready to go. I've got a couple of backup artichokes if I want to put them out anywhere or give them away. What is this thing? Oh, that's a jalapeno that could go out somewhere as soon as I have space. Early jalapeno. More tomatoes, more peppadew, peppers, Roma tomatoes. We've got, what are these under here? Oh, that's a jalapeno. I think these are all Nebraska. No, those are Everglades. That's right. A bunch of Everglades tomatoes in here. Peppadews. There's another basil, another couple of basils. Over here on the other side, oh my goodness. This sunflower, oh, this thing needs to go out because it is trying to produce a flower. Looky there. I see another one down there too. Look. I have to find a place for those. These are ready to get out. Climbing out of their cup, I'll tell you what. We got Roma tomatoes. We got more Nebraska wedding. This Nebraska wedding. This tray is, oh, Principe Bourgeois. These are just about to, a couple of these are just about to go out onto the tomato trellis in the raised bed. These are Suyo long cucumbers, and as soon as they get tall enough and start getting tendrils, like this one here, it's not quite there. No tendrils yet. As soon as they get tendrils, I put them out in the garden. In fact, you might have seen that I did a short the other day that two of those, there's an empty spot there and an empty spot over there. They were growing tendrils, just begging to get out. These are old peppers. Okay, folks, this is April of 23. These are pepper plants I planted in July 22nd of last year, of 22. They're still in their solo cups. Look at the stems on these. These guys are just begging to get out. And and I'm still keeping the buds. See, you take those buds off and it will focus on growing, but I have no doubt the roots are crawling out of the bottom. They are probably very root bound. I have a zero doubt. Those trays of pomegranates still there. There's pomegranates and rosemary, more pomegranates. Down there, there's some bigger rosemaries over here that have been there since last year. This is our poinsettia from last year. I moved the poinsettias over here so they can drop their red leaves. And see, this is what happens to them, folks. When they drop their red leaves, look down in here, they're starting to grow all kinds of new green growth. And I did feed these. I got to keep these things a little better cleaned up, but these red leaves will drop off. Those stems will die back. We'll cut those back, and look here. There's a whole new set of leaves coming out here now. I keep the poinsettia around because they make a great trap plant for whitefly, which is a problem we have around here. They attract whitefly from a long way around. I'll spread those, well, 2 plants this year around the garden and in the vegetable garden, and they will, the whitefly will be attracted to them and nowhere else. They'll be just in there. So we have a bunch of peppers. I know we actually have jalapenos over here that are ready to be harvested. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, look at this peri-peri. Oh my goodness. This is a peri-peri. Oh, I am excited. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 peri-peri. Those will be turning color here pretty soon. And this is something I have to keep an eye out, a better eye out on, is these grasses growing. And this is the grass I want because it propagates itself so easily and I don't have to worry about it. But it also creates a big old root mess and chokes out the poor plant. Yeah, I haven't tended to this one recently, you can tell. So look at those big old, oh, and that's one of those grasses that make the sand burrs. But yeah, got to keep these things more at bay. Oh, and look, there's one right up next to the base right here. That's not good. See, now that can damage the roots for this thing. So, what is this? This is Fatale. Oh, this is a Fatale, and it's got buds on it, so I need to take care of that. jalapeno, something else, citronella, something else. What is this one? I think this looks like a jalapeno. Yeah, that's a jalapeno. Another jalapeno with big, massive ones on it over there. There's a potato plant in the back there that got fed. Fatale, citronella back there. Mountain mint. Oh, this is my original rain lily plant right here. There was one bulb in there. Now there's half a dozen. I need to get in there and break those up. This is a Fatale that's looking rather peaked. It's had a rough time. That little purple thing down there is a purple queen. I'm sorry, wandering Jew. And I still don't know what these two things are. We're gonna let them go and figure that out. So, yeah, these rosemary are actually looking really good. They need to get into someone's garden. The blueberries, look how close the blueberries are. They come in here close to this branch, just full of them. Blueberries as far as the eye can see. And I really didn't do anything to this patch this year. I didn't go in and weed. I did pull out a few vines, but not much. I did do soil acidifier. It's a pretty big patch of blueberries that's going to produce a lot this year. We had 31 pounds last year, and that was after being covered with a lot of vines. I want to see if we can beat it this year. I actually pulled those vines out after they flowered. Or nope, I take that back. I think I did it before they flowered. And there you have it, the front and side garden tours. Very exciting to see lots of stuff growing, seeing things happening, seeing this thing finally up. This was a thing that was kind of hanging over me for quite a while, but I had a spraying project on the books for several months, and it was 4 Adirondack chairs that I built, plus tables that I refurbished, and this thing all needed finishing. And I was waiting to do all of it together so I could spray gallons of outdoor sealant at the same time and not have to do it over and over. I actually held off on this until I had a project that I had some sealant, so that's how that came about. But anyway, coming down to the end here, and this is, of course, if you watch my garden tours, you know this is my personal journal. You're welcome to follow along. Things that are happening in the garden, and I refer back to these a lot. I'll be standing in the store wondering, wait, now what time of month did I plant that last year? And I'll go back and I'll look, or what plant was that I planted last year? So I can go back and look at these videos and see where I'm at. You'll notice there's very good indexing on all these, and that is what the indexing is all about, so I can find the things that I want to do. I do these garden tours in pretty much the exact same order every single month, and so again, so I can find things when I need to find them. But if you're still watching, please subscribe, and don't miss any of the other garden tours. So this is just the front and side gardens. We haven't even touched the outer beds or the raised beds in the back, and there's stuff happening back there. So subscribe so you don't miss when those come out, and yeah, so you just get to see the progress in the garden as things are growing. Also, we do a lot of videos, just little projects that I'm doing, and I talk about how I've done it, and sometimes I mess things up. I'm not a master gardener. I'm not even a very experienced gardener, folks. I'm just learning. And this is my 4th year of successful gardening, and we are coming up on our 18th, the end of this month is, April, is our 18th month in this new property. So everything you see here that we've done is done within the first 18 months. Now all the big trees, they were here. The property came with a bunch of trees, and the pomegranates and orange trees and the date palm, and of course the sycamore. But a lot of this stuff was already here. And so If you've already subscribed and you're coming back just to watch another episode, thank you for coming back and watching these videos. All this helps. Watching, subscribing, clicking the thumbs up if you thought this was informational, educational, or entertaining, maybe even inspiring. I thought that was a nice word to use. Maybe, I know frequently I'm inspired to do something when I see some of the videos. I watch a lot of YouTube. I enjoy watching the gardening channels and the homesteading channels on YouTube, and I just like seeing things and projects people are working on, and it does inspire me. And of course, share on your social media. If you have any questions about anything or any comments, tell me where you're at. What's growing in your gardening? What's flowering? I'm a little concerned about these sugar snow peas. I should have had them in earlier. We didn't have the beds ready. Next year, we're going to have these beds ready, and next year, these sugar snow peas are going to be going in probably the end of February, beginning of March, so that they will be a lot farther along now at the end of April. I'd love for them to be already producing. May is coming in a week and a half, and things start heating up. If May stays cool, we can get a good crop out of those sugar snow peas. But anyway, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching if you're still watching. And y'all have a blessed day.